Okay, so we're going to start with Katie with the ties units, and then we're going to go to Nancy Meyer, and Missy Logan from Fiscal, and then Lori Priest from the Department of Corrections.
Max, how y'all doing? Am I the dreaded? No, I'm not the dreaded after lunch speaker. That already was. I always hated to be that dreaded afternoon lunch speaker. My name's Katie Chestnut. I've been at the TBI for 30-some years. I'm counting down the days. I got 1,120 left to be a special employee. I was just saying. I have a clock on my desk because the day it turns 0000, I'm done. Some of y'all probably feel the same way. When my time is up, I'm done, right? So my job, as it relates to you all, the first thing I'm going to say is I'm the keeper of the ORIs. So some of you all may have had to ask for an ORI because they wanted you to have a good one to use in Flex Check. So you had to go through me to get to them. And I feel like there's one waiting for me. If I owe you an ORI, please email me again and remind me that I owe you an ORI, okay? Because I'm not going to tell you how many emails are in my inbox, all right? So what I do is I need documentation from you what your court does. Especially in relationship to criminal cases, you have to hear some type of criminal cases. So if you're a juvenile court, you have to be able to say that you do criminal cases as well as all the other things that have to do with juveniles. But the FBI will only give you an ORI if you do some type of criminal. You probably maybe do it once a year, but you have to say that that's what's under your authority. I'm also in charge of the message switch, which I did look at who was here. I don't know if any of you all have TIES access directly to the message switch. I was talking to the gentleman from safety, and they were telling me about some type of portal that you can go get driver's license, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's pretty cool. Because I'm going to charge you if you want to have TIES access. So I'm just so you know, if you want to get a direct connect to the message switch, it's $560 a quarter starting out. So I'm just laying it out there. And then you have to pay for your software. But it seems like there's lots of places that were not available 30 years ago for you all to go get data. So like that safety driver's license thing, I think that's pretty awesome. I don't need access to it. I don't deal with people's driver's license, but I'm just saying there's, lots of places where you can go get data without having to go through the TIES message switch. But that's what I keep up with. And then I understand Rachel was throwing me under the bus with protection order questions. I don't know which I hate more, protection orders or sex offenders, but I'm just saying. And I don't know, y'all probably don't have a lot to do with sex offenders registering. I mean, you convict them at the time, but you don't, after you convict them, you're probably done with them. But there's a lot that goes in after a person's been convicted of a sex offense. So anyhow, protection orders, again, they're not on criminal histories. They're in the NCIC file, which, again, most of you all don't have direct access to. So if the judge says expunge it, there is a way to do it. So they have to go back to the agency that entered it into NCIC. And then they will go in there and they will cancel the protection order. Because what happens with protection order is, if you have a protection order, say somebody gets a protection order on you, you put it in the NCIC. If it expires, it sits out there for 5 years. Now, it's not visible to a police officer that's doing a traffic stop, but it is visible to anybody doing a background check or like in TICS. They can still see it. Okay, they can't do anything about it. I mean, they're not gonna deny because there was one in there. Law enforcement uses it sometimes because to prove we've had 15 protection orders between these two individuals for the last 10 years, right? So an expungement will then cause that agency to go in and cancel those expired orders, so they're no longer visible anywhere, all right? But that has to be done through the NCIC. Because they stay in there for 5 years. I'm just telling you, in case any of y'all ever had a protection order on you. 3 years ago, it's still there. I'm just saying. But it's not used, it's really not used for anything other than like the history, like when we're trying to show these two individuals need to move out of state, get away from each other. I don't know, protection orders, I don't understand them. Thank God I've never had to have one. I mean, I'm just, but I'm just saying. So, but that's how protection orders work, all right? So, I don't know, I hate to say, do y'all have any questions for me? Because I can think on my feet. See, Holly wanted to know if I had a PowerPoint. So I thought there was one other thing I wanted to tell y'all, but I forgot what it was, so you guess you don't need to know. But if y'all ever decide you want to get TIES access at 560, that gives you direct access to criminal histories. You got the driver's license. I mean, so that you don't really need anymore, I don't guess, but it would give you direct access to criminal histories, but that's a lot of money to spend just to get criminal histories. Now, I'm just saying that you're available to do that if you want to. Yes, ma'am.
Does this tie into the Watson program that you guys have with the ties?
So Watson runs through the message switch. Why, do you have Watson?
We do at Chattanooga.
But that's just driver's license and vehicle registrations.
Yeah.
That does not include criminal histories. In Tennessee, we limit criminal history queries. There has to be a desktop. Like, we don't allow officers out in the street to run criminal histories, all right? That's not to say that they can't ask dispatch to run them a criminal history when they're on a traffic stop, but running criminal histories involves knowing who you're giving it to and why you're asking for it, and all of that has to be documented. So as long as I'm here and in charge, officers do not get criminal histories through Watson. But when I'm gone, things might change. I don't know. I don't want to know about it if it does. But yes, that Watson goes through TIES to get to the DL, back to the switch and back to Watson.
Thank you.
Sure. Anything else?
So if we expunge an order of protection, it'll just have to be a judge sign and the DA will not have any part in it.
And it has to go to the
NCIC.
whoever made the entry, whether it be a police department or a sheriff's department. Most of the time, protection orders are going through the sheriff's departments. There are a few that get handled, and I'm not talking about Metro. Well, in Nashville, Davidson County does all the protection orders.
We do our protection orders through our office. They come to our office and fill them out.
But entering them into NCIC, who does that?
Sheriff's Department.
The sheriff's department. Okay, like I said, mostly it's the sheriff's department or the 911 center if the 911 center does everything. There's a few police departments that do their own protection orders, but usually it's a county thing. I guess it's the county court. Maybe that's why it goes through the county. Are we good? Well, y'all got our emails. So if you think of something after you leave here today, feel free to email me. I'm always happy to help. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you. So this lady has a lot of knowledge up there. Question in the chat.
Oh.
A new law regarding background. Is that a?
She's challenging.
It's training or is it?
That's
a task.
That's a task thing. And she reached out, like, I think that's a sense of person that asks that, well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Okay, then I'm not just to have a whole day.
Okay.
All right, you're welcome. There's a switchboard on the there is.
Good morning, good afternoon, I guess now. I think I've seen Holly Jolly Christmas or holiday. Dance across here to keep everybody's attention. So Holly asked me to speak on the animal abuse registry. My name's Nancy Myers, and I'm the Deputy General Counsel here at TBI. So I like to tell everybody I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, because we have to handle so many different things. And I know a lot of people in this room know what I'm talking about because that's how your job is too. But every day I feel like, even though I've been with TBI a long time, I feel like I see something new. I've been an attorney now for over 30 years, and I have worked with law enforcement as an attorney in some capacity for over 20. So I'll talk to you a little bit about animal abuse registry. Katie said she hated sex offenders. I'm going to say I hate animal abusers because they are absolutely the worst. So back in 2015, a law was passed in Tennessee, and it was to make an animal abuse registry here in Tennessee. And it actually went into effect in 2016, so it's been in effect since then. And it is a list that's supposed to include a booking photo of the abuser, their full legal name, and any other identifying information that we might determine is necessary. Most of the time, it's pretty standard across the board, kind of like what you would see for the sex offenders. You can go out to the TBI website and you can see the animal abuse registry. We only have probably, I'd say, maybe 20 people on the registry right now, and I'll tell you why in just a few minutes. When this went into effect, it was like so many things that happened downtown at the legislature. This was an unfunded mandate. We didn't get any extra money to build out a big fancy schmancy database, so we had to have our internal people build us out one. So it's something that we have here that's internal. And the public information officer, Josh Devine, works a lot with me on posting the pictures and getting information posted to it. So this is for you guys. Court clerks are supposed to forward a copy of a judgment, the date of birth, of all persons convicted of animal abuse to TBI within 60 calendar days of their conviction. Now, it's not really animal abuse. It's an animal abuse offense, and we'll talk about the difference in just a few minutes. But upon the first conviction, the person's going to stay on the registry for 2 years. After that, if they have another offense, they'll stay on it for 5 years. So one thing that is very important for you guys to know is that sometimes they can stay on even longer if a judge orders them to. We do have individuals that are on for a lifetime. So one of the things to remember, like I said, this is not animal abuse. This is not animal cruelty. This has got to be aggravated cruelty to animals, animal fighting, or a criminal offense against an animal. And just because everybody is eating and to make you really sick, that's most of the time going to be like sex with an animal or something like that. And we do have that come up from time to time. It has to be, the abuse has to occur to a companion animal or a non-livestock animal. So think to yourself, dog, cat, little bunny rabbit that's somebody's pet, a duck, maybe a goat, maybe a pot-bellied pig. All of those things are included as pets. But one thing that is not is any kind of horse, any kind of equine. All of those are not, they're considered livestock. Doesn't matter how much you love your horse or your child has a little pony outside. They are not considered pets. They don't fall under this. And I have my own thoughts about some of this, just because I think that the Tennessee walking horse people probably were very concerned that this could get people into some kind of trouble. And so they wanted to be careful and made sure that equine wasn't mentioned. So if you have a person that is convicted, and you're just not sure about it because it says, maybe it says animal cruelty, but you're not sure, is this aggravated? What exactly is this? Please send us a copy of it. We would rather you send it to us and have us go through it and look at it than for you just to disregard it and the person not to go on the registry. But one of the reasons why there are so few people on the registry is because it is very narrow about who actually does go on the registry. Like I said, it has to be an aggravated cruelty to animals, an animal fighting offense, or, again, an offense against an animal, which is probably going to be a sexual offense. If it doesn't fit, but a judge orders the person to be on the registry, like it's just animal cruelty, but the judge says they need to be on the registry, send it to us because we have to put them on the registry. Even though it may not fit what the law says goes on there, we have to put them on there. So please send it to us. So one thing that can happen is a person may get an expungement for this offense. If they do get an expungement, we will need to know about that so that we can remove them from the registry, which we will do if they should happen to get it. If they're on diversion, we still put them on the animal abuse registry until they come off diversion. So they would still go on it even in a diversion situation. If you have any questions about this, you can email tbimedia@tbi.tn.gov. And if you have something that you want to email to us, again, you can use that, any judgments, or you can use the street address there and mail it to the Professional Standards Unit here at TBI, and I will take a look at it. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Okay. Yes.
I think without a doubt, the best dressed of the day. And now we have Missy from Fiscal.
Good afternoon. I don't have any slides. My main thing that I wanted to discuss was when you're sending in checks for the fines and fees, if you would please enclose your report that matches the amount of the check. We've been getting some that either getting a report and no check, or a check with no report. And we need to match those up before we can deposit the checks. So really, I came for if y'all have any questions or concerns or anything regarding this. Okay. That's all that I've had for this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and the last thing for the day, but I do want to say, have some closing remarks, but we have. Thank you, Lori.
So I'm Lori Priest. I'm the Director of Records Management with the Tennessee Department of Correction. I've been here about 4 years, and prior to that, I was with the Parole Board for 20 years.
the right. Forward. That goes backward.
All right, so I've got my 25 years in and looking forward to my 30. So TDOC's mission is to operate safe and secure prisons and provide effective community supervision in support of successful reentry. Our vision is to be known for innovation and thoughtful leadership in corrections. For the records management division, we just have a very small piece of everything that the department does. We oversee records retention, destruction, and RDAs for the department. We process public records requests for inmate health and inmate institutional records. We maintain the active inmate health record, inactive inmate health records archives. We process all the expungement orders received by the department, and we scan the inmate institutional records, including all court orders. We coordinate all the agency publications, forms, and printing requests, and we conduct compliance audits of all TDOC facilities. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a little overview of the statistics for our expungements. That's mainly what we work with you all most closely with. You can see the numbers of what we received in 2023. Overall, we received 14,540 expungement orders. And so far this year, we've received 18,659 orders. And that was for November only. We still have December to get through. We saw a significant increase in the number of expungements we received. We categorize them into different categories. The full is when the entire record's been deleted and we remove them completely from our system. Partial is when they have multiple convictions and we only received orders for one or some, not all. No record, we get a lot of those. Those are mainly the ones that were dismissed without being convicted or they were misdemeanors and we don't have them in our system. We really only have the felonies in our system. If they were on probation or parole, when they committed a misdemeanor that was expunged, we may have a record of that in our notes that we'll have to go through and review, and that's what we do with the partial. And then no atonements number is the ones we don't have any record on at all. Anybody have any questions getting that? So this is just a breakdown by county of what we receive. We maintain our numbers for reporting purposes by county. Shelby County, we've gotten this many so far this year, 702. All other counties, whoa, I think I skipped a slide. Yeah, I skipped Davidson. Oh, that was that. Okay. All other county expungements, we've gotten 2,468. For the overall, the pie chart of the red is no record, the orange is no number. And then we still have 5,500 that were pending to be completed. As you can see, the amount of full expungements we do are very small compared to the number we get. So we rely heavily on the court clerks and TBI to ensure we receive the information needed to process the expungement orders from us. We do operate the felony offender lookup, the FOIL. Some of y'all may be familiar with that on our website. That runs from our database TOMAS. So if we don't get the orders, we don't know to expunge them from there. So sometimes the information can still be active on the public domain. So it's just really important that we get the orders. And providing as much information as possible will assist us in being able to process the orders efficiently. The full case number, docket number, social security numbers, date of birth, arrest date, etc. If all of that information is filled out, it leaves us be able to more efficiently identify whether we have a record on that person or not. And so we've got a lot of different projects going on in our division that I'm really excited about. We're looking forward to becoming digital. We have a scanning project to we currently scan all the incoming court orders that you send, the judgments, revocation orders, all of that stuff gets scanned after it's processed. We have contracted with a vendor to scan all of our inactive inmates' records. And we have contracted with a vendor to convert all of our old microfilm into electronic format. Our retention on our inmate records is 50 years after they complete their sentence. So we're looking at people, we're currently purging records from people that completed their sentence in 1974. So that's how much we have. It's a huge volume of records, and we have judgment orders and revocation orders going back to the 1970s. We do get frequent requests for that information, so we have it in the various formats, and we're really excited about trying to get the microfilm and the microfiche converted to PDFs so they're searchable and more easily found when someone needs something. We're also working on implementing an electronic health record system and eliminating paper health records. So we're trying to get in the current day and age. We're still a little behind the times, but we're working on it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I was told, I used to send the copies of the judgment, TDOC. And, all the time getting calls for people saying TDOC, so they don't have them. When I've got proof that I put them and they signed for them, well, I talked to somebody and she told me I could just email.
That would be an Amber question. She'll be presenting next. We get them on the back end. Amber is the director of sentence management. They're our sister division within the department. They receive all the judgment orders and compute the and then once they get done, we get them to digitize them. But I'll let her go over that with you. Anything else?
Do we have any questions from the chat?
Everybody's asleep now.
Do you guys require all felony arrests or just the ones that have conviction or conviction attached to them?
So most of the time, they're not going to be in our database unless they have a felony. So if it's just a misdemeanor and that's all they have on their record, we're probably not going to have anything. But I know that's hard for the clerks to determine because you may not have access to all of their records across the states. And, you know, a lot of times if they were on probation or parole and they were arrested or charged with a misdemeanor or a felony, even if it wasn't prosecuted or even if it was found not guilty, dismissed, what have you, we may still have a little record of it in our file that we might need to remove. The reference to that pending case or that charge. So, you know, I know the volume is very difficult to keep up with, but at the same time, if we don't receive everything, we might risk not getting something removed.
So would you prefer that we send all of them? Well, we enter them on our end for TBI, and I instruct them to only send the felonies to you guys. We don't generally
So
send
you're
misdemeanors.
You're with TBI?
Yes.
Okay, so we get them from you and we get them from clerks as well. So I don't know how much we get from you that we don't get. I mean, I don't know how much we get from the clerk that we don't get from you. But we get a lot of stuff that we don't have a record on, but I really don't know how we can.
Yeah, from our standpoint and our unit is I instruct them to only send felonies to you guys. So that's what I'm asking is, would you rather we send all of it or should we stick to just sending the felonies?
Let's maybe discuss that with my expungement coordinator. We'll see. I'm not sure if that would leave any gaps for us or not. So I don't really want to say without knowing for sure. That.
We also get a lot of calls from about oil, like how do I get off? And we don't know who to tell them to call. So you have a contact?
We do have the dedicated email account. TDOC expungement coordinator, the one that you send us your stuff. So just ask them to send us whatever paperwork they have to that email address and we'll look into it and process it. Yeah. that FOIL information is pulled from our main database, so we are the ones that have to remove
Right.
that information. So that-
That's what they are. That's to remove it.
Yeah.
That's correction.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people ask me to remove stuff from NCIC too, so they just don't know. And unfortunately, the information is spread across all different agencies, and one agency doesn't control the other, so it makes it a long process. Thank you. Any other questions for me?
Oh, yeah.
When we submit judgments from our county, is the judgment being scanned in so that wherever a defendant is housed, their records department can see the judgment? Because we get calls daily.
I think that's what this lady over here was asking about. We do scan them after they've been processed in records management, but sentence management is the ones that receive those orders as they're coming in. Right. Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, I'll turn it over to you then.
Good afternoon. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we do in sentence management. So we are responsible for receiving the judgments from your county. We take those judgments and enter them into our system to calculate the offender's time. We're also responsible for certifying offenders for parole hearings. We authorize release and expiration of their sentence, and we certify offenders for determinate release to probation. To answer some of the questions that you've already asked, we do get those orders. And so far, the orders that we've received so far this year is 136,000. I have 16 staff that processes all of those orders. So we do have a backlog. So you may get phone calls from somebody that we don't have it. It's very possible that we have it. We just have not gotten it processed yet. You know, we get calls from family members. They think as soon as you send us that order, we should have it in there and we should have that offender's time calculated. And it is not that simple.
Well, y'all tell them that instead of tell them the court's had a fingertip.
We
I
do.
got a very ugly letter.
Yeah, we do. We get those ugly phone calls too. We do. And we tell them when they call me, there's a possibility we have it. I can't tell them that we have it. We're all paper. We're not digital. It would take me looking through every order that I have to see if I have that one certain one they're calling about. I mean, we try to tell them to be patient, but they don't want to hear that.
They're on it. And the way I look at it, you know, well, if you're that worried about it, doesn't have to be at the price.
Yeah, they don't like it when we tell them that.
If you had done a crime, you wouldn't have to be having a problem right now.
So once we do process those orders, I mean, you know, those orders, when they come in, they're screened, they're entered, they're verified. And then at that point, they go to Lori's group to be scanned. So when they are scanned into our FileNet system, wherever that offender goes, whatever prison he goes to, they cannot access those documents. But again, it's not anything that's done immediately. There is, you know, it does take time to get all that done.
Okay, and then I have another question. When I talked with somebody, she told me I could just email them and didn't have to mail them. Is that correct?
You can.
Thank you. That just makes it easier.
It does. Do you have the email address?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you give it to her?
Can you give it to us?
I can. It is BI dash
He is in Victor.
B as in boy, capital, it doesn't matter. TDOC, SCS, tn.gov. Anybody have any more questions for me? Okay, thank you.
I see it on my computer. I didn't know it was gonna turn off. No. I would like to thank everyone who has attended, who has presented, who has helped us set up the room, brought drinks, brought snacks. I would especially like to thank Assistant Director Penland for providing the lunch, because that was a big worry of mine when we started planning this. Oh, shoot, hold on. Let me put this QR code on the screen. So I'm gonna be sending an email, and I've been told that I'm gonna send links in OneDrive. So somebody, Matt, I think is gonna show me how to do that tomorrow. So you're gonna be getting a post-conference email. But it's probably not gonna have those links. I don't know, I have to talk to Matt first. But you will get those, and I'm gonna be able to provide everything except the sex offender registry presentation. We are at some point going to cut this however many hours long video that we recorded into sections, and we're gonna put it on the TBI YouTube channel, but I think Heather is gonna also put it on the CJIS website. Remember, if you, the remote people, if you are multiple people on one device, I need to know everyone that was logged in to get your COCTP credits. I think I'll want some of those. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. I'm sure I am. Sorry. What else? Did you want to have any closing remarks? Yes, just a.
Thanks everyone for coming. Our goal is to have this conference every year. And so we look forward to seeing you guys next year, and safe travels to everyone. That's all.
And so, thank you. And surprisingly, I actually covered everything that was on my cheat sheet. So thank you so much.